Is there any downside to them continue to do that?
Yeah.
What's the downside?
The downside is that they already started the process to become a member of the European Union. This process will not end up to be a member of the European Union if they continue the way they are doing. And that's a big downside.
Okay. And Vučić announced finally, as long as he is president of Serbia, that was his last statement, as long as he is president of Serbia, he will never recognize Kosovo. We know that. We know the history of this former Minister of Information of Slobodan Milošević. He's actually never going to do that. So how will we ever reach the final agreement?
I think you should not focus always on the final agreement, but focus on steps to come to the final agreement. Look on the history of Germany. We have been for a long time separated in two countries. And in the beginning, there was always, the first 20 years of the separation, there was always the focus on the final agreement. And then Willy Brandt started to refocus and said, we started with small steps. And these small steps led to the final agreement.
When did your small steps start? Can you just give us a timeline?
1970, the first step started with Willy Brandt being the chancellor. And then 20 years later, the reunification of Germany happened. Here is not the case with reunification. Here is to recognize each other. That's the final step. But you have to start with small steps. I know it's not easy.
I know. Our small steps, I can tell you, in that comparison started 1981, the first demonstrations when Albanians were asking for a Republic of Kosovo within Yugoslavia. We are now 2022. And all I want to tell you, we've spent 12 years talking about car plates. We haven't resolved something as simple as car plates. 10 years ago, energy agreement was signed, still not resolved. For 10 years, 2 practical agreements. How long do you think Kosovars should be asked to stay with the process, make small steps?
You cannot force Serbia. They are accepting, as I told you, if they stay on this way, that they never will be a member of the European Union. So they have also big disadvantages from what they are doing, but you cannot force them.
Can you remind us of these disadvantages? I'm really seeing, apart from that you will
yes,
not
the
be a member of
disadvantages are
European,
really big
what are they?
if you are not a member of the European Union, and everybody knows.